Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a fabulous week so far. Okay, in today's episode, I want to talk to you about a powerful principle to understand. Okay, it's something that I believe is going to help you become aware on how we can take responsibility for everything that is happening in our life. So it's something I really wanted to share because it can be very, very empowering because, okay, when you realize that we can take responsibility for everything, okay, everything that's going on in our life, whether or not it's things that are going to plan or not going to plan, we tend to look at things in a different way. Okay, so we tend to look at it like we have opportunities that are around us, that we have options, that we can create different experiences. And this in turn is going to help us feel like a more powerful person. Like life is not just happening to you, okay? It's happening for us. So it's an NLP term, okay, that we call cause and effect, okay? Now, basically what the NLP kind of explanation it's about the beliefs around how you are living your life. Okay. So it kind of refers to that you can either be at the effect side of the equation or you can be at the cause side of the equation. Now, I prefer to refer to them as you can be on the reason side or you can be on the results side. Okay. So do you have results on this side or do you have reasons? Okay. And that's basically the best way I like to understand it. So you can kind of refer to it. I like to say, draw a line down the center of a page. Okay. And then ask yourself, are you on the reason side or are you on the results side? Okay. Now, if you are on the reason side, okay, you are going to be the person that is potentially making up excuses and you're at the effect of everything going on around you, okay? You are most likely the victim, okay? You are most likely, blaming everyone else. Poor me, this is really crappy. This isn't how it's meant to be. Aren't you meant to be helping me? Life doesn't, life just kind of happens to them. You know, an example would be if they're overweight, it's not because they're eating junk food and they're not exercising, it's because they don't have the right genes. Okay. They feel like everything is just out of their control. Okay, so that's just sitting over on the reason side, the excuses, and you're at the effect of everything that's going on around you. Now, having a think then over on the other side, which is the result side where you're at cause. Okay, it's the side where you are taking control of what's going on in your life, okay? This does not mean that everything's going to plan and everything's perfect. However, if things aren't going right, what do I need to do next time to make sure that it doesn't happen this way? What did I learn from this? How can I improve on this? Things like that. So you're kind of really looking at how you can take responsibility for what's going on around you. So you can either be letting life happen to you and letting it just be out of control, which is over on this side, or you can be on the other side where you're feeling like you're in control regardless of what's going on around you. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. There are going to be times where you're going to go on one side to the other. Okay. It's okay to flip sides. The whole point of me explaining this to you and kind of talking about how important it is for you to take responsibility of what's going on, okay, in your life is for you to be able to have that different viewpoint and for you to have more awareness around when you do slip over into the reason side, okay? Because when you are over on the reason side, you tend to be in a stuck state. Okay, now what is a stuck state? If we're talking about it from the like in a business context, okay, or in a career context, when you're in a stuck state, you generally like you literally feel stuck. You don't know where to go. You've got maybe a lot going on in your head, and you just really lack that kind of clarity for which direction you want to go. But you find your business is literally stuck. Okay, it's not moving. It's not getting momentum. It's not kind of gaining that traction. It's not growing. You literally feel like you're stuck. But the longer that you sit in this stuck state, the harder it is to get out of there. Okay. Or harder it is to become aware that you're sitting there. Others around you can potentially see it, but you may find it difficult to see that you're sitting in the reason side. Okay. Now, do not misunderstand what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm going to go in and talk about how I want you to take responsibility for what's going on. Okay, and when I say take responsibility, I mean, like, how can we make this better? What did I learn from this situation? How can I make sure that this doesn't happen the same way next time? Okay, so do not misunderstand. This is not the same as blaming yourself or beating yourself up, okay? Because first of all, blaming yourself or beating yourself up is not useful, okay? And that is very different from taking responsibility, okay? So, but if you find yourself sitting over in that kind of, things are not going my way, what can you learn out of that? Okay? Now, there are going to be examples in life where things are out of my control. Okay. That I am not able to control everything that's going on, and they may be scary. Okay. However, let's have a look at what I am in control of. Okay. I can be responsible for the experience that I want to get out of that. Okay. What do I want to learn out of this situation? So, my personal belief is you either win or you learn in every situation. There's no failing, okay? Failing is not useful, but you either win or you learn, okay? And don't, like when you're in that state, you if you try to blame others for things that don't go your way, when you are blaming others, you're not learning anything, okay? So either win or you learn. So where do you need to take more responsibility in your life or in your business? Okay. Or in your health or in your relationships or in anything really? Okay. Where do you need to take more responsibility in your life? Okay. So I want you to try and think of an example. You might have something that you can think of that maybe didn't go quite to plan, or you didn't have quite the experience that you wanted to have. I want you to reflect back on that situation. And I want you to just kind of think and go, what side of the equation or what side of the line was I sitting on? Was I sitting on that victim side? Was I blaming others? Even if it not verbally to them, you may have just been having these thoughts in your head that, I was late because of the broken traffic lights or, whatever it might be, just, were you blaming someone else? Or could you take responsibility and go, if I was late, I potentially could have taken traffic into consideration and potentially left 5 or 10 minutes earlier to avoid that. Um, I don't know. You do you know what I mean? So I want you to have a think. Where were you sitting? Were you sitting on the result side and you were learning from it? Were you, having those thoughts about, okay, where could I learn from this? What could I do better next time? What kind of experience could I have better next time? Or what did I learn from this? Like asking all those questions over, with yourself and reflecting on the situation. Or were you in the victim mentality? Were you, don't have enough time in the day? And things like that. So I will just say that most of the time, when you are in a stuck state, you are going to be on that victim side. And in all honesty, that's where most of my clients will come to me and they might be majority of the time results orientated. However, when they get stuck in that reason side, the reasons, the victim state, and things aren't going my way, you get stuck in there and it's hard to move yourself out of there. Okay. And you kind of feel like you've got no choice the longer that you stay in there. So how do you bring yourself over this way? So you either have reasons why you don't have the results you wanted, or you have the results. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself a question. If you aren't getting the results you want, how much longer do you want to have that story for? Okay. Now, I say story because most of the times when we're stuck over that side, we are telling ourselves a story as to why or you're not getting those results. Okay. And generally, those stories are limiting beliefs or limiting decisions about what we're telling ourselves. So that's a whole other podcast where we can dive deeper into, limiting beliefs, limiting decisions, the stories that we tell ourselves, that our unconscious mind thinks are true. Okay. However, if you are in a stuck state and you're not getting the results that you are wanting right now, what are the stories that you are telling yourself? How would you like it to be instead? Okay. Ask yourself, if I am over here and I am stuck, how would I like this to be instead? Because it isn't about a right or a wrong choice. It's simply about becoming more responsible about the decisions that we have made and getting that awareness around it to take more responsibility of, we could be sitting in our business and going, business is not going as well, but it's okay. It's the economy and it's the trend. This time of year is tends to be quieter. And that's okay if you're happy with that. But if you're not happy with that and you want different results, what are you putting into action? You can either sit each year and go, oh, it's always a quiet time of year, or you can change those results and start taking responsibility and put a plan into action on how to change those results. So it's just literally looking at taking responsibility for everything because the results that you currently have is based on the actions that you are currently taking, and it's also based on the responsibility that you are taking around everything. Okay, so do you want to take control of your life? Do you want to be the driver in your vehicle? So look at it like right now, are you taking responsibility? Are you the driver of your vehicle? Um, so what does taking responsibility look like for you? Okay. So, and what is stopping us from changing? If you're thinking that, you know, am I in the driver's seat? Am I actually in the driver's seat? What stories am I telling myself? Is that true? Did that really happen? Um, and are you going to stay in the place where everything is happening to you, or are you ready to start taking responsibility for everything that is happening around you? So those are the kind of things that I want you to think about. Um, you can kind of think of about it as, do I have the results? Or sorry, do I have the reasons or do I have the results? Do I want to continue making reasons why I don't have the results? Or am I ready to start taking responsibility for everything that's going around me and accept that the results I currently have, um, it's up to me and I'm the only one and I'm the driver of my vehicle. Okay. Um, and I can either win or I can learn. So because you either have reasons why you don't have the results you wanted or you have the results. All right, my friends, I hope this is helpful. And don't forget, stay tuned or subscribe. And next week we will bring another episode to you as well. All right. Bye, everyone.